You know, Wyoming has a lot of firsts. We had the first national park,
the first national forest,
and the first national monument,
and the first ranger station.
We're the first state to have a rodeo.
And rodeo is our state sport.
Wyoming was the first state to grant women the right to vote. That's why we're the equality state.
Don't forget to vote.
Now Wyoming is adding another first. We're going to improve our mobility and collaboration by putting 10,000 employees on Google Apps, saving the state of Wyoming $1 million a year. Wyoming's the first state to go Google.
Wyoming has gone Google!
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here this morning. We are excited about today. As all of you know, one of my top priorities is how we move technology forward in Wyoming. And that starts with what we do here in state government. We had, as a state, an opportunity to figure out how we do a better job communicating with each other, that is the public employees, and how we can do a better job communicating with the public. The opportunity to bring Google in as a platform for Wyoming was exciting, and what I want to tell you is within a very few months we have moved now, today we have cut the cord and moved 10,000 of our employees to Google Apps. This is important for Wyoming because it provides us an opportunity to communicate with one another better. It provides us an opportunity to use documents, share documents. It's going to save the state of Wyoming. Our current predictions are over $1 million a year. It's going to provide better security. It's going to provide better storage capacity. And what it's ultimately going to do is it's going to provide the state of Wyoming, that is our public employees, my office, every state and public employee, it's going to provide us the opportunity to do our job better because we now have a better tool. And that's important because as we move into the future, we want to make sure one of the things Wyoming, as we are a leader in many areas, we also want to be a leader in doing our job well, and that requires the best use of technology. So I'm very pleased about today. I want to thank Google for this opportunity. We're looking forward to this partnership. I want to thank them for the presentation today, for being out here. For Wyoming, it's a big deal, and it's a big deal for Google as well. So at this time, I'll introduce Flint Waters, who's our Chief Information Officer for the state. He has been involved in this project since he came on board, and I'd like him to say a few words about today. Thank you, Flint.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. I'm very excited to have the opportunity to stand up here and talk about how Wyoming's moving forward in technology. Once again, we're leading the world in how we innovate in this state. We're a small state by population, but we're moving forward very well. I also have the fortunate opportunity to let everyone know how hard the Wyoming employees have worked in bringing this together. There have been folks through every department across the state trying to change the way we communicate, to let them do their job far more efficiently and let them focus on the services that they deliver to the state. It's been critical. And everyone can be proud of what the employees have done for our state. And I'd also like to thank Google for coming to the table, and I'd like to introduce David Gerard, President of Enterprise for Google.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here representing Google, so thank you for your time this morning. As I said a few moments ago to Governor Mead, it is really a new era of technology. Cloud computing is kind of taking the world by storm. And I like to say it's leading edge technology. It's by no means bleeding edge technology. It's really become proven in millions of businesses around the world, in schools by the thousands across the United States, large businesses, small businesses, the U.S. government, and increasingly state governments and city and county governments. So Wyoming likes to be first, and that's a great message to us. This is kind of a an early round in this technology, and for a company like Google, we need the right partners to work with. When we, I've talked to probably thousands of people across many types of agencies or state governments or the private sector, and invariably there's a huge fraction of those folks that want to know who else is doing it, who else, who else can I copy or can prove that this is all ready to go. And those are never the right folks to work with in the early stages of a new technology. So it's wonderful to have a partner like Wyoming who takes pride in being first, because these are the types of partnerships that mean a lot to Google, and I think they will work very well in both directions. So I want to say thank you for that. It's also heartening to hear, when the technology began to be implemented here in Wyoming, that the governor's office stood up and said, we're going to be first. Because leading from the front is always important in this area of technology. Transitions are not always easy for people, but to have leadership take charge and say, we're going to do this, is really a critical sign of success that we look for, whenever we engage. So I want to say thank you for that as well. Cloud computing is kind of a mystery to a lot of folks, but there's only a few simple ideas that matter. The PC era of technology was about personal productivity. You think about what happened 20 years ago or more when the first PCs came in. It was about doing things on a computer that you could never do before, and it was pretty amazing at the time. Desktop publishing and computation and spreadsheets and things of that nature. It was about making the individual productive. Cloud computing is very different. It's about teams. It's about people working together to get things done. So for any type of organization, whether that be state agencies or whether that be small businesses or large businesses, cloud computing is very empowering in that way. It helps, and it's designed around people working together. And to us, this is really what's most exciting about cloud computing. I just want to say finally that what's going on here is really a powerful message, I think, to the nation across almost every state, every type of government, from the U.S., at the federal level down to state and local governments across. There's budget crises. There is technology that is being underfunded and is getting older by the day. There are challenges with data security because of the legacy systems. Cloud computing really does represent a better path forward. It's a more efficient use of taxpayer dollars, which everybody cares about. It's safer technology, and it's even better than all that. It's technology that doesn't get old. You're never on an old version in cloud computing. You're always on the current version. If you've lived in the world of technology, that's a very empowering idea, and it's a very exciting idea. So what's going on here really is a great model for what the rest, so many parts of the country really need to think about and get started doing. And there are many others doing it. I should also say places like Orlando, Florida, places like Los Angeles have really taken bold moves into cloud computing. A lot of the federal governments, the General Services Administration of the U.S. government, going live just this week with all their employees. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Agency going live with 25,000 users. So it's happening in a lot of places, but this is the first statewide implementation of Google Apps, so it's something we're very excited to partner with Wyoming on. So with that, I want to say again thank you to Governor Meade and to Flint for partnering with us on this endeavor, and what you have is a real commitment from Google to make this a success. So with that, I think we will take the moment to cut the cord.
Somebody brought a chainsaw.
Good shape.
You want me on this other side?
Cut the blue one? No, this is power, I think.
All right, we'll be happy to take some questions.
Governor Meade, you said in the video that this would save the state $1 million. Can you talk about how you came to that number and what specific ways would this help save the state money?
Yeah, I can talk about it a little bit, and I'll turn it over to Flint. One of the things it's going to do is we're getting extra storage capacity, and the rate that we are paying for our current storage capacity before Google, we're going to get a better deal on that. On top of that, we have, I think before we went to Google's, we had roughly about 13 different platforms within the state of Wyoming at a time, and there was even more platforms than that, where you could have different agencies that didn't have the way to email and communicate with each other very well, and the cost associated with that is all but so built into that. But I'll turn it over to Flint as he's done the calculations on that and how he got that number.
Thank you. Just looking at the number of staff alone that were dedicated to handling the mail solutions when they were disparate across agencies, you're going to see a dramatic change in the amount of personnel required by the state. When you replace the need for 13, 14 other people running specific mail services all the time, that alone gets us into that $1 million area. Then you move out the server costs, you move out the licensing costs, and just in comparing mail alone, the savings have been dramatic. It's difficult to make a comparison at that level, however, because what we brought on board is not just that change in the mail environment, but now every state employee has the ability to go to a single directory and find any other state employee and connect to them directly. They have a massive amount of capacity. They have the amazing ability to collaborate on documents from anywhere in the state simultaneously. So in man hours saved, I'm sure that $1 million is very, very conservative.
Other questions?
How much did the conversion cost?
The conversion to Google? Do you know?
Yeah, the original budget was $5 million. We are working on ways to try and come in well under that budget, and it looks like we're doing quite well at this stage.
Is there like a certain amount of time that this partnership will go for? Is there a contract for some number of years, or is it kind of undefined?
Go ahead.
We like to look at this as a direction the state is going in terms of enterprise and cloud computing. So while if we find that Google isn't meeting our needs, we're going to have to reopen that discussion. But as it stands right now, we've got an amazing view of the horizon with where we're taking technology.
But you're not locked into anything then?
Not over the long term. With all of our vendors, we want to hold them to task to make sure they serve Wyoming well.
Does this include the legislature? I know the LSO and all that. Does it include the legislature?
This is an executive branch move,
So it's just
although we are opening up to other folks as well that would like to join with us.
Anything else? Dave, you must have done a marvelous job explaining this. So we thank you very much for this, and this is a great opportunity. And as we look towards Wyoming's future, everything we look at in this office is, how do we do our job better in providing the service that we need to the state? How do we move Wyoming forward, in particular on technology? And I think this is a great first step. And while other cities have done it, as you recognize, we are the first state to do it. And it's just going to be such a joy when I get calls from other governors on how's it working out. And so we're looking forward to the partnership. We thank you.
Thank you, Governor.
Thank you. Thank you, Flynn.
Sir.
Thanks, everyone, for coming.
Appreciate it. Your folks did a great job.